Hebrews 4, verses 14 to 5:10. The great high priest who has passed through the heavens. The passage opens with a declaration both triumphant and settled. Having then a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. The language is not anticipatory, but declarative. The high priest is not awaiting entrance. He has already passed through. The imagery draws from the priestly movement on the Day of Atonement, when the high priest would pass through the veil into the most holy place. Yet here, the movement is not through an earthly curtain, but through the heavens themselves. This establishes a priesthood no longer bound to the patterns of the earthly sanctuary. The former priesthood stood daily, offering repeatedly the same sacrifices, never bringing completion. But here is one who has passed through once, not into a copy, but into the true. The confession held fast is not a hope awaiting fulfillment, but a reality grounded in what has already been accomplished. The writer then turns to the nature of this high priest. For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in all things as we are, yet without sin. The contrast is not merely between divine and human, but between distance and nearness. This priest is not removed from the condition of those he represents. He has entered fully into the human experience, yet without deviation. His sinlessness does not distance him, it qualifies him. He stands not only as representative, but as the flawless mediator. Thus, the call to approach the throne of grace with boldness arises from this reality. The throne is not depicted as a seat of judgment, but of grace, and access is not mediated through repeated sacrifices, but through the completed work of the Son. The boldness described is not presumption, but the natural response to a finished priestly work that has removed every barrier. Moving into chapter 5, the writer reflects on the priesthood itself. For every high priest taken from among men is appointed on behalf of men in things pertaining to God. The pattern is clear. Representation requires shared nature. The priest stands among men because he stands for men. He offers gifts and sacrifices, dealing gently with the ignorant and misguided, because he himself is clothed in weakness. Yet this shared weakness also defines the limitation of the former priesthood. The earthly high priest must offer sacrifices not only for the people, but also for himself. His ministry is marked by repetition, and his qualification is bound to mortality and frailty. In contrast, the priesthood of Christ is not self-appointed. So also, Christ did not glorify himself to become a high priest, but he who said to him, "You are my son, today I have begotten you." The appointment is divine, rooted in sonship. The priesthood here is not derived from lineage alone, but from identity. It is further affirmed, "You are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek." This introduces a priesthood not tied to the Levitical system, not bound by genealogy, and not limited by time. The reference to Melchizedek recalls a priesthood that appears apart from the law, preceding it, and therefore not governed by its regulations. This priesthood is enduring, not cyclical, singular, not successive. The passage then reflects on the earthly life of the Son. Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with loud cries and tears? This is not weakness in the sense of failure, but participation in the full depth of human experience. His prayers were heard, not in the avoidance of suffering, but in his being brought through it. The reverence described is not mere ritual, but a complete yielding to the will of the Father. Though he was a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. This learning is not the correction of disobedience, but the experiential fulfillment of obedience. As son, he possessed all authority, yet as man, he walked the path of submission. In doing so, he embodies the perfect union of divine purpose and human response. And having been perfected, he became the author of eternal salvation to all who obey him. The perfection spoken of is not moral improvement, but completion, the bringing of his work to its intended end. Through this completion, he becomes the source, the origin of salvation that is not temporary or repeated, but eternal in nature. Finally, the passage closes where it began, with his priesthood, called by God as high priest according to the order of Melchizedek. The emphasis returns to divine appointment and enduring ministry. This priest does not pass away. His work does not require renewal. His offering does not await repetition. Thus, the entire movement of the text rests on a single reality. The priesthood has been fulfilled in one who has already passed through, already offered, already been perfected, and already secured what the former system could only anticipate.